Millions of tons of plastic materials such as bags, bottles and food trays are consumed and disposed of across Europe each year. But what happens to these materials once they're put in the recycling bin? I've come to Ireland's only plastic recycling, reprocessing, manufacturing and supply company to find out how all of this works. Shabra was started with humble beginnings in the Shabra horse stables by the late Oliver Brady and Rita Shah, and has now grown into the world's leading manufacturing and recycling plastics business here in Ireland. Hi Rita.
Hi Aoife, you're very welcome to Shabra.
I can't wait to have a look around.
Come on, I'll show you around. Did you know that the bottle that you throw into the bin, right, that it would end up in Shabra? Well, it does. It does. So let me tell you what we do with that bottle. So the bottle comes into us, we sort it out, we then wash it, we dry it, and then we make it into beautiful flake like diamond. Look, right? And this is then used, the flake is used to make it into PET sheeting, the containers for trays and sandwiches. And then if they do put it in the right bin, it comes back to Shabra. And let me tell you, if it is a plastic like this is called LDPE. It comes to us, we wash it, and we make it into granules. Look at that. Look, isn't that beautiful, right? And out of which we make 100% black refuse sacks or any recycled bags, right? Now you tell me, right? Would you believe that the waste that you put in, that this is 100% Irish product, fully circular economy, fully sustainable?
So it's clear that caring for the environment is really important to everybody here at Shabra. So now let's head inside and see how they turn this into these recyclable PET flakes. Hi Brian, how are you? How's things? What is going on here?
You've been at home. This is the normal type of material you put into it. You have all your mixed plastics, cardboard and metals. It goes to a MRF, which is the material recovery facility, and they take out the cardboard and the metals. And then the rest of the plastic comes on to us. And then you're in here now in the sorting facilities. So let's go and we show you how it works. The process with the bales, they come in, they're fed up the conveyor into a bale breaker. And the bale breaker is to get all the material.
So it's breaking down? No.
That's exactly it. And it's important to get the bottles loose and everything individual in its own, so that when it comes to the optical sorters, which that's doing the sorting, that it can identify what that is and put it into the proper stream. The ballistic here is behind you, and that's any contaminated dust or residues on the outside of the bottles. Might be bits of glass and that. The important thing is to shake that off, and get it sorted. Your bottles is a rolling fraction, so they automatically drop down and go out at the bottom of the machine. Here we have the metal detector. So that's to take off any bean tins or anything like that can be attached on to the bottle, so we need to remove that. And then it's going on up through, so we go to the technology that's the most important part, and that's the machine for that separates everything. Everything that you see going up, that's all PET. So that's the important part. It's to get the PET on, and you have a hit that's positive. That means that the material is clean that much better. Everything else drops down. It goes up through a conveyor and is coming down this side. So on this side we're hitting high density bottles. And that's to get the high density in the PET. They're the two most valuable streams in the material. So we're getting them out. So we can go on to the next stage. Here you can see the PET after getting the first hit. Yeah. It's gone on to another machine that's doing the exact same. This is rejected material. Okay. It can be contaminated or it's rejected for some reason. But also, when we go up to the next part of it, we can show that we can recover any good material that is rejected because there's too much of a volume on the line at the time. We pull it back in and we're not losing any of it. The technology of the machines is quite extraordinary. As you can see here, it will tell you the percentages and the volume of the different types of materials, whether it's PET trays, polypropylene, high density, PVC, and whatever other contaminations in there. If you look along the light, along there, that's what sees the material and it identifies exactly what that is. So the air fingers then, they do the separation. So it only has a split second to identify what it is and it makes the decision then where that material has to go. We look down, this is what we call the recovery line. So you'll see some of the material being fired up again. So that's the PET that we lost and we're taking it back in. So we go back over again. Here is all your PET.
Yeah.
It's processed, it's ready. The only thing now that we need to do is put it through a colour sort. And that machine over there in the corner, it takes it and it takes all the coloured bottles out of it. And as you can see here now, there's very little rejected.
Yeah.
Everything's nearly recovered. Even with all the technology that's in here, the most important part probably of the line is the QC guys that we have at the end of it. Because PET, it's very unforgiving. It's either good or it's either bad. So to supply our customers with the type of quality in that that's required to go on to the processing back in the meat, food trays or whatever the case may be, or back in the bottle, it needs to be 100% right. So you can see here, the bottle of that, they have a final visual of it. And if there's anything in there that they think that it shouldn't be, they just manually remove it. After it comes through the whole process, the material has to be all rebaled up. This is the material ready to go to the wash line. So we go up and we go through the washing process. Here we have another QC guy. He's just checking to make sure that there's nothing there that should be. He manually remove it. And then it's on up into the grinder. After the grinding, for the pre-wash, it's just like an old type washing machine. You can see the flake dropping out here and it comes into the tank. Now, believe it or not, it's quite simple how we get the separation. Caps and label, because the density is lighter than water, it automatically comes to the top and it floats. The PET is heavier, so it goes to the bottom of the tank and it sinks and it goes out. You can see it over here, dropping into the... And that's going on in the next part of the washing, which is the most important part. And that's where we get up to really high temperatures. And there's some chemicals added in there to make sure that we get everything removed that's attached to the bottles. After the washing, we have a rinse. So again, the washing off of the material is equally as critical, is to get so there's no residues whatsoever of chemicals left in it. It goes into the final float sink again. So any stable that might be trapped in the folding over the flake, we got to remove it.
Yeah.
Then we come to the drying, and after the drying, flake sorting. All the material passes through here, and that's it removes any colours that might be in there. After this part, it's going on to the second flake sorter. This is the critical part too of the process, because if there's any PVC or there happen to be a PVC bottle or label in there, it's the utmost important that we remove it.
Yeah.
So it's taken, and then after that, it's just taken to the pipe and it's blown off into the bags. Here we have the finished product. Once this bag is filling, samples would have been collected and they're already gone to the lab. They're tested, rigorous testing done on it. We test that there's no contamination left in the surface of the flake. We test if there's any contamination of PVC, any other polyolefins that might be left in there, or metal. And now it's ready for dispatch, ready for going out to the customers. Okay, let us go over to another part of the site and we show you another part of the business.
Great, Brian, thanks.
This is backdoor waste that we're taking in from the customers that we supply. So it's a very important part of the circular economy that we're taking this product in, we're reproducing it in the plastic bags, and it's going back to them, back onto the shelf, and back to their customers. So you can see here, the material is fed onto the line and it's mixed with post-consumer waste and that as well.
Yeah.
So the fact that the guys in here have got over 20 years experience, it's of a great help to us. So this is the pre-shredding of it. If we just go around the far side, I'll just show you. The material is fed onto the conveyor, and as you see, it's into the shredder. And after it's pre-shredded, it's getting the whole material ready for the next process. As it's going up into the compactor. People, you can see the material dropping down into the compactor, which is a blade, and its temperature preheats, and it starts the pre-melting process. The material then, once it's pre-melted, it comes down into the main screw. You can see here the material is travelling down through it. Comes down here to the filter. Here you have the filter, so that they can take out any carbon or any contaminated nation that's in there. This side, it's no different than a butcher's. It's like a mincer. Your material is pushed all through all them holes, and it comes into the die face. The die face is where you have the blade cutting against the plastic, and that's what puts it into the pellets. We have the water that's instantly cooling it. We keep using the same water because outside it comes back in, so we're 100% reusing the same water over and over again. In here, you can see the pellets and the water, and it's separated on this compartment here, and the pellets comes on. You got your finished pellets.
That's amazing. Right, right? Okay. Ah. It's warm.
All right, Eva, I'm going to take you back in and show you the most important part of the whole process. It's the reconverting of the recycled pellet back into plastic bags. So we start on up here. We start the melting process again. So here we have the pellets is all fed in from the extrusion end, and they come in, they're remelted. As you can see on the blending, we can dig in 4 to 5 different types of material. So that means originally when we started off recycling, you always had a problem because if the material was a substandard, it meant then that you had a big issue. You were left with a large volume of material with nothing, you couldn't do anything with it. Now, because we've set up all recipes, it means that no matter how bad material is or contaminated, we can blend it at a certain percentage. So that means there's nothing wasted. The material comes through the melting process. As you can see here on the bubble coming out, that's molten plastic. And it's very simplistic. The molten plastic then is blown into a tube. And the material is taken away, thrown away on nip rollers. It gets cooled between it gets up to the nip rollers, and you can see following the filament on here, it goes through this, and this is the bag making end of it. So in here we've perforation and sealing. So if we go down the far end of the material, you see it being folded again and rolled on, and on this end we have the roller bags. So if you think about it, at the far end of it, we have the pellets coming in. Here we have the extrusion, and this is your finished product. So you're back into 100% Irish material, recycled, fulfilling all our dreams of a circular economy.
That is amazing.
This is a wheelie bin liner, so it's quite a big bag.
Yeah.
But if you find in the strength of it, it's really the stretch you can put. Yeah, it's great quality. Yeah, it's great. It is. So there you have 100% recycled material in Ireland, and it's fulfilling all our customers' expectations to be part of that.
That's so impressive.
This is what we call offline. We're after seeing the extrusion down the far end, and that's from the pellets being converted to one system right in the plastic bags. A lot of the other extruders would be running an awful lot faster, and we put it on the reels. And in this end, then when the reels are made, they're taken up and we'll put them through this bag maker, and they're converted into rolls of bags. So we go on up the far end, you can see. So you can see in here, this is all the sealing end and the perforation. So that does it, and then it comes on to the winding unit. The winding unit, it's rolling at the moment, he's doing about 75 metres a minute. So he can make a substantial amount of rolls in an hour. The rolls then, 25 pieces on a roll, you calculate in the size and how many there is per roll, and that's a roll change there now, so there are 25 pieces. Then it goes on to the packing end of it. So whatever the customer is, that's the type of packaging that we get in.
Brian, thanks so much for showing me the process. I'm absolutely gobsmacked that my plastic bags at home that I recycle end up here. They get a new lease of life as a new plastic bag and they go back out into the economy again. It goes to show how important it is to put your bag in the recycling bin.
Our pleasure. Eva, thanks very much for coming.
See you soon. So Rita, we've heard the term circular economy a lot today. Could you tell me what circular economy means to you?
Absolutely. Circular economy means that we've got Irish waste, which is really a very valuable Irish resource. We bring it into Shabra, we wash it, we segregate it, we wash it, we sort it, and then we make it into a new a PET pallet or an LDB film. We can make bags out of it and then supply to the Irish customers. Now remember, we're using Irish skilled workforce as well. So it's totally circular, and that's what I think the country needs.
Rita, it's been an absolute privilege. Thank you so much for an amazing day. Hopefully we see you soon.
Thank you.
So there you have it. It's incredible to see what goes on inside these massive facilities. But at least we know that here at Shabra, they're doing everything they can to make the world a better place.